Our next graphical method on how to add vectors together is called the tip-to-tail method. So here you notice that we have vector A and vector B. We're supposed to add them together and get the resultant vector R, but they both have their tails together. So what you're going to do is you're going to take one of your two vectors and move it so that the tail of the one vector is at the tip of the other vector. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to move vector over to the right. Of course, what I cannot do is I cannot change the direction of the vector, and I cannot change the magnitude or the length of that vector. As long as I keep those two the same, I have no change at all in my problem here. Now, the resultant vector will be the vector I draw when I start from the tail of the first one to the tip of the last one. And this now becomes the sum of a plus b, which of course can now be written as a resultant vector. Now, that's kind of a neat method because what if you have 3 vectors or 4 vectors? Let's say we have vector in this direction right there. Let's say we have vector b in this direction. And let's say we have vector c in this direction. And now you want to add those 3 together and find the sum of the vectors or the resultant vectors. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave vector alone, take vector b, and move it over here. And now I'm going to take vector c and move it over here. And now I can draw a single line from the start or the tail of vector a to the tip of vector c. And this is my resultant vector, which is simply the sum of vector a plus vector b plus vector c. So notice that tip-to-tail method is a pretty handy method, especially if we have more than 2 vectors. Simply keep moving them around. Move the tail of the second vector to the tip of the first, the tail of the third vector to the tip of the second, the tail of the fourth vector tip of the third, and so forth. And that's how you graphically add vectors together as long as you don't change the direction or the magnitude of any of the vectors.